Aloha everyone, what is really good my dudes? Welcome to another RuneScape news coverage video. For this video we're going to be talking about lore and quests, more specifically some upcoming mini quests. So without any further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's go.
Cats is the illest. What you talking about, Willis?
Alright guys, this information is coming from a live stream earlier this week. Much like the one we had that I covered in the previous video regarding combat, this one revolved around lore, quests, that kind of thing. So, Mod JD took to the virtual panel and brought on Mods Rowdy, Mod Raven, and Mod Jack to talk about all things lore and more specifically the 20th anniversary MiniQuest series going forward. So let's go ahead and talk about what we can expect in the very near future actually. So to start off, the new quest line, or the mini quest line that revolves around this whole 20-year anniversary, is being called Once Upon a Time. That's the name for the entire quest series. And as I said a couple of times, this is a mini quest series. The aim is to celebrate 20 years of RuneScape and explore the past, the present, as well as the future in Gielinor. On the 25th, that's next Monday, we're going to see the first leg of this series, which is known as Foreshadowing. This is part 1. It's going to act as basically a prologue that'll set up the series as a whole, with themes of heroes, villains, all throughout RuneScape history. They talked about what if the player character was never there or wasn't the hero that he or she ended up being. That's kind of the themes they're going to explore. They didn't mention in terms of how many quests or mini quests are in this series, because things can change and it's not fully set in stone, but I guess we'll hear more as time goes on. One thing they did mention about this particular part 1, the foreshadowing, is that Closure is an NPC that's going to be heavily involved with this. If you don't remember, Closure is a ghost from Halloween 2017. He's a close friend of Death himself, and his role is actually to write the biographies of all of people who have passed on. So it's going to be really interesting to see exactly what his role is in the Foreshadowing Part 1 prologue of Once Upon a Time. They did mention that the antagonist is Rolomia. If you're not familiar, that is actually the Sliske emissary, which could be found in Draenor as we speak. The purpose for Rolomia is to explore grief and act as a mirror image or a reflection of Closure, the ghost NPC we just previously talked about. It is also being said in actually a news post from earlier this week that there is an exclusive party being hosted by Rolomia at the Blue Moon Inn in Varrock. So I'm very curious to see exactly what she's up to. They say plenty of faces will be in attendance, so it is likely that it's going to involve some of the most iconic RuneScape characters that we've seen over the years in some way. So I'm definitely excited to see how this is going to pan out come Monday. Talking about the quest requirements, etc. of this Once Upon a Time series, it will be members only. It will be permanent content, so you don't have to do it in a time slot. You can do it whenever you want. There are no actual requirements in terms of skill level, quest requirements, nothing like that. So anybody, so long as you're a member, should be able to start and complete it. And Mod Raleigh did say that people might argue that they should have called it a full-fledged quest, but he wasn't really confident in calling it a quest because it's more bottleneck and presumably it's going to be shorter than a typical quest, but he did say don't get caught up or too fixated on the labeling of it. Once again, some of you may feel like it should be a full-fledged quest, and some of you might be okay with the mini quest label, but it is considered a whole mini quest. All of these parts are going to be mini quests in themselves, so it is important to note. So once again, to wrap up that part, all of that, or at least the foreshadowing, the Rolomia part 1 of this Once Upon a Time 20-year anniversary quest series is going to start on the 25th, that's next Monday, and we're going to begin to see the type of story they're going to tell or want to tell throughout the year. Now, this does further a belief I had earlier in the year in that this mini quest series that celebrates the 20-year anniversary is separate from the series of quests and mini quests that are going to lead up to the Elder God Wars dungeon. It seems almost certain at this point that that's what that is, and that these two quest series are independent of one another. It's possible that they may have some crossover at some points, but I don't really think they will. If you think otherwise, I'd love to know in the comments comments below and your reasoning behind it. Either way though, if you are somebody who is very invested in the lore and do love quests, mini quests, all that, this is going to be a great year for you, to say the least. Having said all that, I do want to shift gears because Mod Rowley did drop that there is actually a second mini quest that's coming out on Monday on the 25th. He did say not to get too excited about it, but it does give us hints about future content. So to get started, this mini quest is not involving any new content whatsoever. In fact, it wraps around a certain archaeology mystery. The reason why they added this mini quest is to allow lower level accounts more accessibility to it from a lore and story perspective. However, the rewards will be held back until you reach that higher level archaeology, and then you'll earn them when you go and return back. The reason why they're doing this mini quest, specifically this one, is to free up space for future use in some later content. What Mod Jack had said is there's a piece of lore that's locked behind a high level archaeology wreck as it currently stands, but they want to use that lore for some type of future content. What that is, they have not yet revealed and aren't ready to reveal, so we're gonna have to wait and see. But they made this change to allow access to more players because they want to branch off and tell a story with it. Had they not done this, this would have been the highest skill requirement ever for an upcoming quest or lore content, whatever it ends up being. Either that, or they could have chosen to completely ignore this mystery as a requirement, but they did feel like this was a good compromise. And Mod Rowley did add that this is an opportunity to experiment, and us as players can give our feedback and let them know if we feel like this is a good compromise, or if they should tackle things like this differently. It's all very vague. We're gonna have to wait and see on the 25th exactly what has been done as a workaround to whatever lore or mystery they're talking about, and then obviously we can give our feedback then. But whatever this is, or whatever content this is going to lead into, is something that both Mod Jack and Mod Raven are working on, so I guess we'll find out in the future exactly what it is, and I'll let you know here on the channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts on what you think it is. My thinking is it's going to be related to Zaros and some Zarosian mystery, because I'm thinking this has to tie in with the whole Elder God Wars storyline, and considering Zaros wants to become an Elder God himself, if that's even possible, his story has to intertwine with the Elder God Wars storyline at some point. So I imagine whatever this mystery or this mini quest is revolves around a high level mystery in the Zarosian dig site. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Love to hear your thoughts. And I'm going to wrap up the video there. Let me know what you think about anything we discussed in terms of lore, these mini quests, this series, Once Upon a Time, all that. Sound off below. And having said that, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet and you want to stay up to date on all things RuneScape related, then hit that subscribe button. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. I am out. Aloha.